if anything over this year, reflecting back, it's a testament to doing something, even though you've never done it before.
Right.
And just take a step and do it, and then try to get better and grow through it. And just to see how over time, a little bit of discipline over repetition, going back and listening to a couple of our first episodes to where some of our most recent, I'm like, wow, night and day.
Personally, the reward and the development that I've gotten from this to even prepare for where we're going in 2025 with this podcast, I'm just so thankful and grateful when I assess my year ender here.
Yeah.
Even for a podcast, I do the internal audit, and it blows me away.
Welcome to Armchair Authentic, a podcast with your friends, Rhett and Justin. Listen, it is our hope to steward our stories in a way that serve you by having real conversations about real life with real people. Now, if today is your first time with us, we want to say welcome, giving you a huge shout out. Would you do us a huge favor? When you have a moment, could you go to Facebook or Instagram and look us up? You can find us there at Armchair Authentic. That's at Armchair Authentic, or you can find us over there on X at Armchair Auth Pod. That's Armchair Auth, AUTHPOD. Okay, now before we jump into the episode, always want to encourage you, if you are enjoying this episode or any for that matter, could you do us a huge favor? Would you take a moment to pull out your cell phone, copy the link from your favorite podcast platform, and send it to a friend? Man, that would mean so much to us. Thank you. All right, can you believe it? A happy new year, moving from 2024 into 2025. Now, we're not sure how you celebrate, and we talk about that today and so much more. We're looking forward to getting into that conversation, and I hope you are too. You guys ready? Here we go. Justin, here we are, the last Monday drop episode of Armchair Authentic of 2024, moving into the new year. But before we do, man, I mean, can you even believe that we're here, dude?
December 30th, episode 48. God, I never would have thought we would have accomplished that many this year.
I mean, I think maybe we thought we would. We just didn't know that it was going to come through. Maybe the hope was.
We didn't start knowing we would. We started thinking we're going to do one a month, and then we were like, let's get crazy and do one every other week.
We mentioned that last week, too.
It's like, let's do it every week.
Well, we hope you had a very Merry Christmas and are looking forward to a Happy New Year. Not sure how you celebrate the new year. Not sure if you're going to New York City to stand in line with the masses to watch a ball drop for about 10 seconds and then it disappears and everybody goes nuts with all their crazy hats and whatever they're wearing and glasses that say 2024 on it. And now being hosted by not the late, what's his name?
Dick Clark.
Dick Clark, yeah. Not by the late Dick Clark, but now got Ryan Seacrest.
Ryan Seacrest.
Hey, listen, can I just say this for a moment? Not this episode has nothing to do with Ryan Seacrest, but this is how we flow. Watching him from the American Idol days with him and that other guy that nobody remembers as the co-host.
They got rid of him second year.
They got rid of him. Yeah. So that's what you're going to do to me. Like second year going into 2025. Everyone's going to I don't know about this red guy.
Yeah, we know that won't happen. Not with the golden voice like yours.
You're so kind. But all that to say, my dad would have probably remembered Dick Clark like we would remember Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah.
And so our kids, all they know, is Ryan Seacrest.
It's true.
And,
that
fast
guy,
forward 30, 40 years from
he's
now.
done an amazing job marketing himself.
Unbelievable.
He's in everything.
Wheel of Fortune.
He's new Wheel of Fortune guy.
You could just retire being Wheel of Fortune dude forever.
For real.
That's huge.
He's like
good for you, Ryan.
The top 40, on Sundays used to be Casey Kasem.
Yeah.
Which he still pops on still. He'll still have Casey Kasem's pre-recordings.
Are you serious?
And he'll still do Sunday mornings.
That just gives me chill bumps.
It takes me back.
Going back.
And
you
then,
know,
but
the
Ryan
top 40.
Seacrest, he's
Casey
in
Kasem.
everything, and it's been amazing just to see how it's like. What has he not done?
What has he not done? And whether you're celebrating with Ryan Seacrest
Tomorrow night, guys,
you know,
turn on Ryan Seacrest,
or you're celebrating with us and playing this podcast episode as the ball is getting ready to drop.
or if you live in Alabama, you can watch the good old moon pie drop.
Yeah,
in Mobile.
I lived in Mobile a couple of years, and I never saw the moon pie drop. You know,
man,
you know, and
bucket list.
I would have, you know,
Not really.
Hey, when I lived in Idaho, they drop a potato. Okay,
Yeah.
Let's go. They set up a crane over near the Capitol, and the crane's out of the shop, but the big Idaho potato.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god.
Well,
Or
let's
can we
face
set
it,
this
that-
up anymore? Like,
I mean, think about it. You get New York City bringing in the New Year at what for our time is Central. They're Eastern, so really it's like the New Year gets so celebrated at 11 o'clock our time.
yeah,
and
really.
then you kind of like everything else is uneventful.
Well, yeah, at 10
We
o'clock.
just got to
in-
pause it and then we play it to kind of sync
Yeah,
up.
I mean, if you're, you know, Mountain Time or Pacific Time, you're the last thing you're doing. Well, you might be watching New York, but your time hadn't changed yet. So you got to come up with some fun ways to celebrate. And I don't know. I don't think you could get any more creative than a moon pie in Mobile.
It's true, man.
And a potato in Idaho.
And we don't know
And
what
it
they
was-
do in other countries that are listening right now. We have no clue your
clue.
traditions.
Yeah, no clue. So yeah, fill us in. Throw it in the comments. Germany,
Please do.
we know you're listening.
That'd be great.
What do you guys do over there
Holland,
for the New Year?
what do you got? Netherlands?
Yeah, for sure, man. Anyway, all that to say, not sure how you're celebrating it. Maybe we need to do the 10, 9, and just set up a clip of that with us doing that.
Yeah,
And see if
and
anybody would actually celebrate with us
Let's do
playing
that. Yeah.
you know?
Do
So-
that with us, guys. Yeah. Play it for your kids. We'll do one for our two youngest. Like we haven't really had them stay up till midnight yet. Maybe once they did. But what we'll do is we'll go to, you know, there's some of these channels that you can have more of a kid-friendly one.
Okay.
And it's like a dance-off.
Oh, there you go.
So around 9:30 or 10 o'clock, we'll press play on that one.
Okay.
And it's like a 10-minute countdown.
Oh, that's fun.
And it's just fun characters doing crazy dances. So we'll clear the floor.
Yeah.
And it's like the Bradshaw Six. We'll just kind of do our dances. Or if we have any friends over, it's all the kids. We'll just kind of dance. And we celebrate the new year. And then I put them to bed. And then I come down and we really
there
have.
you go. There you go.
Yeah. So the traditions.
It's the pre-party to the
are
party,
fun.
but the pre-party
Yeah.
is a party for the kiddos. That's good.
We've had, we have, there's a couple of couples that we get with. And I mean, even before children, it was like we would go out to eat every New Year's Eve. And then we would come back to one of our houses and just go all out with like a chocolate fountain or
that's
desserts
cool. Yeah.
and have that going in the background. Maybe sometimes there's college football going on. Usually NFL has a game going on too. And those are some of the fun traditions. And then summer just makes the moment so great. When we get back, we've tried to make our house now where everybody goes back to.
Yeah.
Just 4 kids. It's great to let them, you know. But now Dax and Kai, I mean, they stay up, they're doing their own thing. And they'll come up and count down. But it's fun because Summer will go all out. She'll go get the glasses.
Oh, that's fun.
She'll get the little streamers, the blowers, the hat, whatever it is, and we'll live it up. We'll have dessert after we've gone out to eat with our friends.
Yeah.
They can come back to our house if they want, and then we eat desserts.
Yeah.
And you know all that.
Well, you're
stuff.
talking about all this food stuff, and that's such a, I don't know, for me, man, it's just life. I don't think it's an American thing. Maybe it is, but it's just this. I love just indulging in all the holiday food.
Got to.
I mean, we started with Thanksgiving and the turkey and the cranberry, all the wonderful things with that, and then the Christmas food, which is really for me more like the chocolates and all the dessert, the cinnamon rolls, the cookies and anything with sugar on it, in it, and through it, and as much sugar as I can get in my blood, which is great, and it's so much fun. And it's almost like we get this big sugar high, and then we get this massive crash going into 2025. But for me, who's made the effort in trying to create accountability to go, I'm trying to lose 25 pounds, about 25. Let me tell you, like, I probably should have started earlier in the year. Because like I told you earlier before we hit record, like I don't think, I mean, I'm going to say I'm not going to hit it, because 20 by 25 can also be translated in like, well, anytime in 2025.
Let's go with that.
Right? That wasn't my mindset. Like it was like literally 2025 before January 1st, 2025. Right. But I also said I'm not going to get legalistic about it. But as of this recording and this time, I'm not sure. I mean, I've lost 19 pounds, which
wow.
But it kind of hit
That's
this.
great, dude.
I've kind of hit this wall of just like, all right, well, Thanksgiving, I want to enjoy.
Yeah.
I don't want to, like, I'm not promised another year. I mean, but I'm also trying to stay accountable and disciplined to it. But you know, whether or not I hit it or I don't, all this talk about food, I'm just setting it up.
You're anticipating eating.
Yeah. You know, I don't think I'm going to be able to lose another 6 pounds with all this holiday food that we've intaked.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think one of the hardest things is like, okay, when you hit the new year, it's like, yay. Okay. Now what? You know, what are we doing now? What's next? I mean, all the food and the fun. I mean,
that is
that's the downside.
That's the tough part. You know, I love, because of what I do at Highlands, we have a lot of Christmas services. Mm-hmm. And so really leading up to Christmas, it's pretty busy. But the week after Christmas, I love the week after. That's where it really feels like we celebrate.
Yeah.
And we usually take the week off. But you're right. When it's January 1st, I love the celebration of the 1st.
Yeah.
But it's like,
okay,
what do we do now? And obviously there's a preparation season we go into. But that's always, you know, they always talk about the good old SAD, seasonal affective disorder.
Thing. Yes.
I'm telling you, that's something, it hits January.
Yeah.
January is a tough month for me. It always has been. I mean, always. I mean, I can take it back to being a kid.
Okay.
I can take it back to you, like you be going to your grandmother's house who, lived off, not the ones you talked about in Huntsville last week, but your dad's parents, when you guys would go for a few days. And you know, y'all were kind of visiting the holiday stuff late before we got back to school. Miserable.
Yeah.
It's like, well, the festivities are over. I have nobody to hang out with.
Yeah.
It gets dark at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
This is tough.
It is.
And so there's something to be said about you're starting a new year, which can be such a wonderful, exciting time, but it can also, it's like, woo.
Well, you got the gray clouds moving in. You got, it's just wintertime.
Yeah.
Everything is, what would they say, dormant? Nothing's dead, it's dormant. You know, there's life being produced underneath all that, which
you don't see it.
You don't see it, but
it's the beginning.
But it's happening. And so it's kind of like, you know, that's how it feels in the natural, if you will, for what we can see, touch, and feel. You know, it's kind of like, well, and then of course, you know, you've got the day Christmas is over, it's already moving in. You've got, you go to Costco, you go to Sam's, you go to any department store. What's going to be the first thing that hits you in the face?
Valentine's.
Well, you know, let's not go too far, but that's true. But it's all the
I got
workout.
a little excited on that.
Not to say that's not.
I'm thinking food, right?
You're thinking food. Let me get back to the candy celebration. You know?
I'm thinking steak and chocolate.
No, it's workout equipment. Like in my studio, we've got this workout equipment right behind me. I got my row machine. I've got my bench. I got my weight. It's all like,
the clubs, everything. You're going to get all the ads.
We're going to be hit up, if you're not already, with the Planet Fitness ads and all the other gym ads and all the stuff on your algorithms on your phone are all going to be like healthy. We know you just ate like crap all for the last a month and a half.
That's so true.
But now it's time to re-up and make your New Year's resolutions that you're only going to have for a couple of, maybe weeks.
Statistically, it's like mid-January.
Yeah.
Everybody's it's fill day.
Yeah, because everybody makes these unrealistic goals of I'm going to, lose 25 pounds by 2025.
And the gyms have accumulated all the money they need to sustain another year.
Oh, 100%.
Based on the over/underachievers.
Yeah, because then once you sign up for the gym, everybody knows this. It's hard to quit the gym. It's the easiest thing to join the gym. You remember the Friends episode?
I love that.
Quit the gym.
I'm here to quit the gym.
Oh.
They pull the big guns out.
Man, the big guns come walking out. They're doing everything. Oh, do you sure you really want to give up on your health? I mean, do you really want to make that kind of decision for your life? You really don't love yourself?
I want to quit the gym.
You don't love yourself enough? Like, honestly, the world we live in, like, I'm not trying to throw Planet Fitness under the bus, but like, I've been a member of Planet Fitness before, and it's been great. And if you want to be a sponsor on our podcast, we'd love to welcome that if you want to invest into it. But I want to tell you this right now, you and every other gym that won't allow people to quit the gym, digitally, that's
they
messed
make you
up.
go in.
Oh yeah, you got to go in. I remember when 2020 hit. I was really hitting the gym pretty hard. 2020 hit, and you couldn't go to the gym anymore. Whatever. I was like, I want to quit the gym. I called them that. Well, you got to come and do that in person. I'm like, well, have you been watching the TV? I was like literally trying to play the COVID card. Well, like I can't get out because, well, if you can't get out, then you got to write a letter. Like they absolutely wanted me to write a letter. Who does that? Will an email not suffice? Well, we've got to verify that it's you. I'm like, no, you don't. You're trying to make this as hard as possible for me to quit the gym.
You want me to feel like a loser one more moment. You want me sitting in that chair. You're going to bring your strongest guy out, your strongest girl. Y'all are going to look awesome, and you're going to look down on me.
Well, they're like, well, hey, what can I do to keep you in on this? I mean, what if we drop the next month? What if we press pause on your membership and then you're whatever? Because it goes back to what you're saying. They make all their money in that first month or weeks leading up to it.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's like, then you're suckered into the subscription for the rest of your life. It feels.
Yes.
So, but I'm telling you, man, I can't believe that gyms in the 2025 that we're moving into are still not allowing people to quit. Online, because you can sign up online.
They've gotten better now about
take your
letting
credit
you
card and
stop
charge
at least.
you.
At least now you don't have to do the 1 to 2 year rate because the competition got too big. They knew they couldn't do that anymore.
Well, here's what I
Thankfully.
did. I got smart enough and I went on Facebook Marketplace and I bought this gym equipment that you're looking at, which is not fancy. It looks fancy, but it's really not. For $500, I got everything that I needed right here in this little gym setup, whatever this bench
it's great.
and bar and stuff is called. I bought it in like late February of last year.
Yeah.
After the people that bought it were like, I'm not going to do this anymore.
That's the best time to buy.
I was like, I got this like $800, $900 piece of equipment for $500.
Nice.
And so
then you got you a rower.
So I put that I put all that to say, I put it in the gym's face. I'm like, all right, well, you're going to make it hard for me to quit. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go buy this equipment. It will be more money up front. But by the time I'm done, you'll never have my money the rest of my life. I don't need to walk in it anymore. It's at my house. I got what I need.
I did enjoy our 5 o'clock mornings.
Well,
5:30 going to the gym, hanging out with you, and getting to work.
Let's reflect back on the year. Was this 2024 that we did this, or was that 2023 that we were doing the morning routine?
It was 23.
Okay, so 2023. I'm like, hey, I've got this membership at the gym again.
Yeah, fall of 22.
Oh, man, why was I thinking? Yeah, fall of 2022.
Because my kids started a new school, so my morning routine shifted.
Yeah, and so I started going to the gym. For those who don't know where I live, Moody, nothing's here except for fast food restaurants. So there is a gym, it's okay. But I was like, Planet Fitness is good because wherever I go in the country traveling, I could just go into Planet Fitness.
Right.
Like West Hampton was telling us, last episode with the Gaither Vocal Band. And so anyway, all that to say, I was like, I'm driving over 25 minutes. And then the only time that you could do it was at, I don't know, what was it?
5:15,
5:30 a.m. to 6:30. So Justin and I, for a brief period, were insanity. Trying to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, drive 30 minutes, meet you at 5
And I only woke
o'clock.
up because I knew you were going.
Yeah, well, the accountability.
The accountability.
Well, we did it, and
That's
we did
why
it
I
for a
liked
few
it, though.
months. And then I was like, I just couldn't sustain. Here goes back to making decisions. I couldn't sustain getting up that early and driving that far and doing that. I was like, this is just too much. And so, because at the time, Max wasn't driving, and I was still having to take him to school.
Yeah.
And
now for a year, Red has suckered me into coming to his house every week to record a podcast. You win.
Hey, let's be clear. I didn't sucker you into that. It just happened to work out where this is the quietest place right now.
And we don't have to set up. It just stays set up. It feels like our own podcast studio that we've set up in here.
Yeah.
So it is nice.
Podcast studio /gym And I keep telling you, if you come over early enough, we can work out here together. I did it this morning before you came over.
It's true, but I get to lead worship.
Yeah, you're doing that.
And that's going to shift at some point when we shift our day for the podcast. So we'll see what the future holds.
So when it comes to New Year's, we're not there yet. This is the episode before that, but we are kind of already talking about what the new year does.
We're treating
bring.
it like a New Year's special. Sorry, guys.
Get ready.
Next week.
Get ready for all the equipment that's going to be coming your way. But leading up, if we're reflecting, this is a great time to reflect. You mentioned that earlier.
It is.
You mentioned episode 48. That's a lot to reflect on. There's been so many moments that just unexpected, goofy laughter, just fun times, and even serious moments of just conversations that have happened throughout this year. Anything that sticks out to you that you're like, oh man, if this was one of those, my go-to episode that I would listen to, is there one for you reflecting back?
I just think back to even the earliest time of us starting this, sitting in the armchairs in your living room, when we came up with the name Armchair Authentic.
Okay.
And I just think when we first hit record, Like it
man.
was so funny because we were having normal conversation and we had to get used to this.
It was so awkward.
And so we were talking to each other with these mics in our faces and we would just bust out laughing. And
Yes.
and obviously some of that's captured and that's been fun. You can go back to our first trailer where
laughter
we
and nostalgia.
we can't even get a thought out.
No.
And I thought initially this is going to be really tough because I would try to get on something serious and you'd smile like you're doing now, but it would break me. And I would just lose.
We were
lose
overthinking
it.
Everything.
Yeah. And so you do this a while, you're kind of locking in. It's really neat. It's been such a fun process. I've loved the guest that we've had. Our first one, we had Lance Ingram.
Yeah.
Just
So
powerful.
thankful for Lance. Yeah.
He's had such an amazing year too, with what he's done, really helping men overcome certain strongholds with his ministry. Doug Barnett.
Come on, Doug.
The
Doug in real
sports
life. Let's
agent,
go.
Doug in real life. I thought about that
Huge
later.
shout out to you, Doug. I know you listen, buddy.
It's the only episode with a guest we didn't give their last name. I'm thinking about going in and
We need to go
renaming
back.
it
Yeah.
to, Doug in real life, a conversation with Doug Barnett.
Yeah.
And so if they see that now,
sandwiches. That's what I was going to say.
but Doug was so great.
Did you ever see that Ben Stiller? Was it Ben Stiller and Tom Cruise?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's so funny. I wish we had the meme to play it, but you need to search Ben Stiller and Tom Cruise.
Fired up, then Ben Stiller would do it. And then it would drive Tom Cruise. Like, it would make him laugh.
Oh man, they would laugh. By the way, that was my best Tom Cruise impression laugh. That's not how I laugh, all right? But they were like looking at each other going, whatever.
And Ben is fueling Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Oh, like Tom Cruise can't stop. And then every time he increases.
It's like we've known each other forever. I don't know what they're like.
I know.
It's so stupid.
That's pretty
but
awesome.
They actually, it was crazy how much he looked like him with that like sunglasses on and the hair.
Oh man,
Anyways,
that was awesome. But yeah, I don't know what got us on that. But Doug Barnett is
yes, that was a great
sports agent. Maybe that's why he was like what's the show me the money guy? What's that called?
Jerry Maguire.
Jerry Maguire. Yeah, sports agent.
Jerry Maguire.
Yeah,
Yep.
and wasn't that Tom Cruise?
Yes, it was.
Okay, that's
I think I've only seen that movie like one time, so like I know I'm not.
You had me at hello.
Oh God.
Oh no, that's what she says.
Is
back.
that moment?
He says,
"You had me."
No. You complete me.
Oh yeah, the worst advice ever given in the history of mankind is telling.
Is the ultimate romantic line in Hollywood.
It's like nobody. Anyway, yeah.
You complete me for a couple of
I'll
years.
never forget. It's so funny sitting down in marriage counseling, being asked by the pastors who were kind of leading us, and hey, why do you think whatever you should be married? I'm like, well, she completes me. And then they look over to Linda and they're like, what do you think? She's like, I love her. She's amazing. And it's so true. She's like, well, he doesn't complete me. I'm already whole in Christ and he's whole in Christ. She gave the answer that she knew her pastors wanted to hear. And so it was so much more life-giving than, and I have to be careful because my wife, I love her so much and she's amazing and the most incredible woman in the world. And I share this story to share vulnerability, but it was one of those to where I've heard her share it before, and I hope I'm not saying it in a way that makes her look
that's
bad.
Funny,
but it's really.
I think she'll get a kick out of that.
Yeah, so it's like it's not that he doesn't complete me. Like I'm whole in who I am as
which
a person.
I agree completely with.
Exactly, but
Linda,
that's how I lived my life before, thinking, well, I'm marrying her and she completes me. I'm better with like she makes me better.
Yeah,
which is true, but like. Two holes make a hole in godly marriage.
That's right. According to Stephen Curtis Chapman,
if you're a half of a person and they're a half of a person, the world's way, you complete me, we make a whole. That's the red flag number one for a failed marriage and divorce written all over.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because if you got to lean on this other person to make you whole, man, you're missing out. You got to be enough in your own in Christ and what He's doing in your life because you're gonna have to be in order to make it. Anyways.
Oh yeah. My marriage counseling, since we're going to be approaching in April 25 years,
come on,
our premarital counseling, the pastor asked a question to me, and when someone asks you, I guess it was an obvious question, but you're thinking too hard. He said, "So Justin, think about marriage this way. What's the first thing you do when you get into a car?" I'm
Open
like,
the door for
I'm like,
her?
open the door. He's like, no, keep going.
Oh my gosh.
You put on the seatbelt. No, Justin. What's the first thing you do? You crank it. What?
Are you serious?
The car
right now?
is cranked.
Oh my god.
The car's cranked. What do you do? Look in the rearview mirror. No, Justin, what do you do? And now he's getting like frustrated with me. I'm like,
first thing you do when you get in the car?
I don't know. He's like, okay, the car's cranked. What do you do? I'm like, turn on the blinker. I mean,
put it in reverse. I mean, how am I
keep
parked?
going. Like I keep going. I can't get it. And he's like, Justin. And I'm like, you tell me. I'm too nervous to talk anymore.
Yeah, of course.
He says, you check the fuel gauge. And I'm like, I don't think that's the first thing I do, but go on with your point.
Well, it must have been some life-changing conversation that you 25 years. Is that what it is?
I mean, for a successful marriage, Justin, you need to check the fuel gauge at all times to see where you're at. And I'm like, that was awesome. You should have just said that.
And any true car person would tell you, beyond that, really what's more important is the oil level. If we're all correctly driving our cars the right way, we would do what a truck driver does. You walk around your vehicle, make sure the tires are all inflated, kick them, do whatever, get the eye visual, open up the hood, and actually check the oil. Yeah. Isn't that really what's the most maintainable thing to make sure that engine runs over the long haul?
It is.
Gas or no gas. So, like, no, I'm not trying to bring correction to your pastoral marriage counseling. But if I'm analyzing that, you should have said, check the oil. But nobody does that.
Yeah. Well, since Linda said I was already complete, she would have probably checked all that.
Well, Pastor, what I would do is I would walk around and check the air pressure in the tire because my dad was a practical man, and this is exactly how he lived his life.
Oh, she totally would.
Oh, he did, but he did. He always checked the oil before he got in and drove
Mr.
it.
Stan, she would have walked him right through it.
He changed his own oil.
She would have said, Pastor, actually, before the fuel, you need to check this. You need to do this. If it's cold, check your antifreeze.
And that's why she's an amazing leader. It's because, exactly. So that's crazy.
But yeah, man, that's so good.
How do we get here?
This has been our year, and we were talking about different episodes. Doug Barnett, Tom Cruise, You Complete Me, marriage counseling. That's the rabbit trail that we take all year round. It's the only way. Yeah. I've said this before. It's the only way we can do an episode every week. Yeah. Because we basically just sit down and talk. Yeah. Thank you for listening. Yeah. I will tell you, I'm shocked. When we first did this, we did our own little research to get our own encouragement, and we would just type in, do you remember this? Like, what's a good amount for people to listen? Mm-hmm. And it was like some crazy number. 80%, if you've got like 50 people or 100 people who will tune in, and you actually get some of this stuff, you're doing great. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm thinking, how many are we even going to have downloads? And what if you just got? I don't know. What if there's just a few people who end up listening and they don't like it? And you go through all these things, and so we had to have this keep going mentality of okay, forget the downloads. It's about our family. It's about whatever. We would create some of these other benchmarks so it remained our hobby and it remained worthwhile. It's
the why behind the what. Yeah.
We looked at the growing side. We'll get a chance to talk. Mm-hmm. We'll operate in these microphones. We'll be more competent all these things you can go through and find the win. All that to say, been absolutely blown away because it has exceeded numbers beyond our wildest imagination. Yeah. And I still can't believe what happens between, podcasts, what happens on socials. Yeah. It's blown my mind. Mm-hmm. And then you now look at it and realize, okay, so there is an audience to steward. Yeah. Yeah. But wow, over 2024, it's blown my mind, the response that you guys have given to this podcast.
Yeah, which brings sheer appreciation and a heart of gratitude. We've never done this for numbers' sake, and so that's why we don't really talk about numbers for sake, because we've done this because it's our friendship. These are our conversations, and we're stewarding this in a way, the laughter, the goofiness, everything we talked about with Tom Cruise and Ben Stiller, all this moments, like this is our friendship. But there's so much leadership stuff that we've learned along the way, and we just can't help for that to overflow in our laughter, in our conversations, in our off-the-wall rabbit trails. And then in the relationships that we've come to either recently have come into relationship with some of these leaders who we've, brought on the podcast, or people we've done life with forever, whether they're pastors or friends and so I just think the variety, if you will, of just, if I'm reflecting, I think more than anything, it has just reminded me of how grateful I am for the relationships, ours, yes, our families, yes, but even outside of that, the people that we've gotten to do life with over the years, and maybe we've lost contact through just, you can't keep in touch with everybody. It's impossible, right? Yep. It's like 6-inch ribbon curls. It's impossible. It's impossible, right? And so, but like in people coming and listening and encouraging, and I'm a words of affirmation person, so I'm very grateful when anybody says that we're adding value in any way. It I don't know, solidify. It just makes me happy. I'm very grateful for that. I don't live for that, but it is very, it's encouraging. It is. And so all that to say, man, just grateful, reflecting back, honestly, if I'm being very authentic, when I go back, I tried so hard to go back the other day because I had some time and I really wanted to listen into a couple of the first episodes just to see like how far, not have we come, but have we gotten better? How are we communicating differently?
Yes.
How is our flow? Like all of those things, because I think as leaders, we have to continue to grow and get better. So I went back and listened, man. I was like, oh God, I was like, oh Jesus, help me, Lord. Like it's one of those things. It's hard enough to listen to yourself talk.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother thing to listen to yourself knowing that, like you said, we just started talking into these mics and we're looking at each other. We're trying to laugh and not knowing where we're going and how we're going to do it. And I don't want to talk over you. You don't want to talk over me. And we're trying to figure it out. And so it was not that it was cringe and not that it isn't good, but I was personally reflecting going, well, I feel like if anything over this year, reflecting back, it's a testament to doing something, even though you've never done it before.
Right.
And just take a step and do it. And then try to get better and grow through it. And just to see how over time, a little bit of discipline and just doing something over repetition, over time, how you can just, we'll never arrive. We got so much to grow into, but I feel like going back and listening to a couple of our first episodes to where some of our most recent, I'm like, wow, night and day. Not that it was bad. It's just different.
I need to do that. I need to listen back. It's just
different.
I do know going through the experience of this for me and the way that I'm wired, when I do get to re-listen to an episode, that's why I need to go all the way back. But you listen and you get to make things better because we want the listener to get the best experience. Where almost that if you go back and listen at ground one, you're going to think, oh my gosh, I'm just going to stay on the more recent because they're so much better. Like even cadence, I'll listen to my cadence, and because I know myself well, I can listen to myself, even remembering those early episodes that, oh man, I'm getting comfortable. Or right here, ooh, I'm guarding what I'm saying. And this has been a great experience for me because you're putting yourself out there. And you know this, Rhett. I mean, we don't always talk about this to you guys. That's tough for me because there's a bit of a mystery that I'm not out there a lot. And so to kind of break into being in a weekly broadcasted venue, if you will, or some kind of medium, that's something that it's taken the full year for me to slowly just kind of chip away. We talked last week about the fortress must come down with, depression and things, even in just life. You've built up these barriers and these walls in the sense of, maybe a bit of Saul's armor. Yeah. And I've listened each week realizing it's like I've chipped away. I've taken a breastplate off. I've taken a helmet off. Yeah. I'm picking the sling back up and operating more and more. And you get that throughout the whole thing. But just me doing an internal audit, I know me. And I've gotten to see this journey that I've gone along on this whole podcast. And it's been very rewarding for me to experience this. Because I'm excited for 2025 because there's almost like, and I think it goes with the theme we always talk in, there's a breakthrough. Sometimes you have to start something and you don't have to come out being the best. No. And the problem with, a challenge for me, I always have grown up, I like being the best. Yeah. To the point I won't do something sometimes until it's fully ready to go. Therefore, I might not do it because it might not get to that point. And I've had to really let that go in many areas. This is a function, and this is just one of those lanes that this has challenged me in many ways. That the benefit of this, it's wonderful, the audience we have, but personally, the reward and the development that I've gotten from this to even prepare for where we're going in 2025 with this podcast, I'm just so thankful and grateful when I assess my year ender here.
Yeah.
Even for a podcast, I do the internal audit, and it really it blows me away.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that, because I think one of the habits that is really good to get into, that I would encourage everyone to, is this week, if at least a week, if not a day, try to take some time to reflect on the year. And maybe the year didn't go like you thought it should go, or maybe, the year didn't look as if you accomplished all the goals that you wanted to accomplish. But if you can just peel back the onion a little bit and look at some of the areas where you actually did grow, because there are areas, if you're honest enough with yourself, that even if you didn't, hit the home run, you might have gotten a base, or single or a double, or maybe, maybe you didn't get the grand slam, but maybe there was some success that you had, and celebrate that.
Yeah.
Don't over, what's the word I'm looking for? Don't overemphasize, if you will, the places you didn't hit your goals. Like for me, I may or may not, we still yet to be determined. We'll make that announcement for week one of, 2025. The goal that I had hoped of 25 pounds, but like at the end of the day, God, if 19 was what I lost, praise God, let's celebrate that. I mean, if it was 5 pounds,
aiming for anything, you might be gaining.
Exactly. And so
if you ain't aiming, you gain. You gaining. I just thought of that. If you ain't aiming, you gaining.
Oh, gaining. It's like that Peyton Manning commercial. You painting? Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning. It's good painting. Peyton Manning. Have you seen that commercial yet? Oh, have you not seen that commercial?
I need to see that one.
He's painting.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I have seen that.
He's sitting there painting on an easel. He's painting. He said, good job painting. And he's like, Peyton? Are you saying good job painting or painting?
Yes,
it's kind of like the play on words. Yeah. Anyways, all that to say.
But if you're gaming, you might be gaining.
That's true.
So don't game too much without getting the exercise.
So you might not have hit all your goals, but celebrate the wins is what I'm trying to say, where you can see the wins. Don't beat yourself up. I mean, just, hey, you know what? If your goal is to get out and walk however many steps, and you only did 500 when you wanted to do 1,000, hey, you got out and did it, man.
That's right.
500. But I appreciate that you were talking about where you've grown, because that's what we're doing. We're just looking back. Honestly speaking, I wasn't so sure that our podcasts were going to be edited down to where we didn't feel authentic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you were an editing machine. And on our couple of first episodes, there were moments, let's just be honest, there were moments where like, well, you didn't have to take that out, you know? And you're like, I need to take it out. And now over time, it's like,
I'm not ready for it. Not ready for that to come out yet.
Our edits have become, they're all authentic, and they're all done in a way through the lens to be the lens of the vision of what we're trying to accomplish.
Yes.
Right. And for your life, for my life, for our families and everything. So not everything that we say in this circle needs to come out. But there are some things where it's like, well, I mean, that could have been said.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And so if you listen back and you've got an editing ear, you could probably hear less ums and ahs and and clearing of throats, right? But now you're getting more the ums and the ahs in the moment of reflection. And hold on, let me think about that for a second. Leaving those in.
Yeah.
Not that it was never authentic, because that's who we are.
It's been a progression. It's the evolution of the year. And until we did this, I would have never discovered that. That I let that stuff go. But one thing everybody can thank us for is I do remove any kind of mouth noises that get very slobbery.
Oh, gosh.
We try to save you from anything.
Meringue, as one of our friends would say. I don't, that was an off-air conversation we had with one of our professional friends.
We had I'll say this, I won't say the name because we've had many guests, but we had a guest that, I mean, it was so many background noises that y'all will thank me for probably 8 hours of editing I put on that bad boy.
Yeah.
Because I got to remove a lot of noise.
Yes. And I'll tell you, we were sitting in a service the other day. I won't tell you the church or where it was or what it was. but it was just like, I'm not even going to make the noise over the microphone. It's that disgusting because I don't want you to turn it off. But just imagine the most moist, conversational mouthpiece.
I got a great friend who he hates that word.
I know moist is one of those words just like, cringe, right? But at the end of the day, like just that sound, you've done a really good job at trying to remove distractions that would cause people to, I can't do this.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. So while you have gotten better at, allowing things to fly, I do appreciate the fact that you have chosen.
Well, I've got this new flow where our flow here is I have my kids, and they'll do it all too. But I enjoy loading the dishes. But I love it that they'll unload it. So I have them rotate through that.
You love
one
it?
of their chores.
I enjoy it.
I really do.
What about it do you love?
I enjoy putting things in their proper place.
Okay.
And I enjoy wiping all the junk off of a plate where you don't know if it's clean or dirty. It looks clean. By the time I get done loading a dishwasher, everybody's asking, are these clean? I'm like, no.
They double clean. They triple clean.
Yeah.
Dude, you and I are a lot alike in that area. And I don't know why. But family members will like, well, just this is what the dishwasher's for. And I was met with friends in a small group the other day. We were talking about dishes, and I just put it in there with all the spaghetti and everything on it, like they do in the commercial. And I'm like,
I can't do it.
I can't do that. And they were like, well, it just goes. I was like, where does it go? I'm like, well, I'm like, it's got to go somewhere.
Oh, man.
Does that clog up in the drain somewhere? I'm like, where does that live? They're like, well, there's a filter. I'm like, aha. So if I put that junk in the dishwasher and I turn it on with like food nasty and everything, I'm going to have to like pull a filter out? And I don't mind. No. Let's pregame this baby.
I
turn the water on as hot as you can get it to where you're almost boiling your skin.
I mean, you stick your hand in there. Like, you see how long you can take it. Yeah. Then you get it a little warmer just so you can endure.
I'll go through a whole bottle of Dawn and like.
I don't that mess.
I'm like, they were like, well, you only need like a drop. I'm like, no, brother.
Really?
I got like, and
I keep Dawn. I keep Dawn in business, man.
I mean, baby, because you really only need like a small, because it's concentrated, and like a small amount will do a lot. And I'm like,
well, here's what's funny.
My
hands will get so raw because I'll put my laptop when I'm editing.
Okay.
Now here's my flow, and it's changed everything. I don't edit nearly the time I used to. I put it on my oven. I make sure that control button's set so I don't turn my oven on and burn my computer. But I'll set my laptop
on your oven.
I'll set it on the oven.
Okay.
Well, it's just
It's a flat top glass. Okay.
I set it there, and then I'll do the dishes as I'm listening through my AirPods.
Okay.
And then if I hear something I didn't like that I'm like, oh, we're going to get rid of that. I'll stop. I'll wash my hands because I don't want to touch my computer with my dirty hands.
Good for you.
And then I'll do my computer. By the time I'm done doing dishes, I've washed my hands 10 times.
Your hands are probably dry and cracking.
They're so dry.
Yeah.
Even now, they're very, very dry because I was doing this a couple of days ago. But yeah,
but you enjoy doing the dishes.
I've learned how to do the dishes and listen to our podcast and edit at the same time.
Well, there you go.
And the reason I do that is I make myself accountable. Because now I'll let things I'll let that slide because I'm like, I don't feel like washing my hands.
Okay.
So I'm creating my own accountability to let it slide.
Yeah.
So if I have to stop, it means that I heard something that did not necessarily fit the moment, which is few and far between.
Well, I appreciate you editing. And I've told Justin several times, if people are listening going, well, why don't you let Rhett edit? Well, I ask. You just he's a control freak a little bit when it comes to this.
We might let you do it more.
But all that to say, no.
But you do socials. That's been our flow.
Yeah.
I've been more the editor.
Yeah,
I'll go in and try to get the initial stuff ready. Rhett will jump in and he'll get the socials ready. So he's keeping up online. I'm trying to find my way back offline more that as much as I can. Rhett's taking care of socials. He's working with AI on the things to generate what he needs to. He'll come back over what I did on our mainframe page, which is where we upload everything to. You guys see the nice side of it. We're working on the back end. Rhett will take what I've done and he'll come through and polish it up just to make sure that it fit every category. I make sure our episodes are titled right. I'll go through our chapters and see if we need to add anything special. I'll go through our transcripts and make sure that it labels your name, my name, and whatever guests we have. So we've established a flow in this year where that's how it's become scalable.
Yeah.
And that's how it's become possible. And so for me, it's been such a growth.
Such a blessing. And I'm just so appreciative of every person who's taken the time to invest, not only to listen, but to be the guest and just to be along for this ride and this friendship, man. So we welcome you along to continue on this journey with us in Armchair Authentic. It's been an incredible 2024. I have no idea what God has in store for 2025.
To be continued.
Ellipses. So we're going to continue this in an ellipses. Ellipsis? Ellipses? Is it ellipses? It's like poem or poem? Poem?
It's been an amazing 2024, and we are looking forward to 2025. If you enjoyed this episode, would you pull out your phone and text it to a friend? We'd love them to join us on this journey. Well, until next time, have a great week.